sponsored by Hisense. Walk into almost any home in America and you'll see the same thing. The couch, the chairs, the decor, it's all pointed towards one thing. According to a poll of 1,000 Americans that Hisense ran 1 month ago, 85.3% of people say their TV setup is the focal point of their living space. And with the FIFA World Cup coming to the US this year, that living room centerpiece is about to matter more than ever. There's a specific kind of pressure that comes with being the World Cup house. You're the MVP host, the living room is the stadium, and the gear is going to actually matter. So today, I'm taking a first look at the Hisense UR9. And I mean first look because this TV isn't even out to purchase just yet, but check the link in the description below if you want to pre-order. Aside from the 85-inch model I'm showcasing here, it'll also be available in 65, 75, and 100-inch versions. And I know you guys love the 100-inch TVs, so we will be attempting to get one of those in when they launch in a few months. Now, talking about the Hisense UR9, what makes it different isn't just the size or the brightness. It's a fundamentally different way of building color. It's called RGB Mini LED. And once you understand what that actually means, you'll see why it's worth paying attention to. Most premium TVs you can buy right now are actually fighting against themselves to show you a simple red or green. You see, there's a middleman in the hardware that's been limiting your picture quality for years, and Hisense just deleted it. A standard mini LED TV, including most of the premium options you'll find at any store right now, work by shining a single white light source through a filter to create color. It's a bit like shining a flashlight through colored stained glass. You get color, of course, but it's always working against that white light base. The filter can only do so much. RGB Mini LED skips the filter completely. Instead of one white source, you've got red LEDs, green LEDs, and blue LEDs all working independently from one another. Color is built directly at the source. So when you're seeing a red jersey on the screen, those red LEDs are producing that red, not a white LED being filtered into something close to red. And that's a pretty big deal because you get truer reds, deeper blues, and greens that actually look like grass instead of something slightly off. On the UR9, Hisense is using nearly 35,000 individual RGB LEDs. Traditional dimming zones give a TV maybe a few hundred areas of control. So here you've got tens of thousands of precise points doing the work, which means better contrast, cleaner transitions between light and dark, and way fewer of those blooming halos you sometimes notice around bright objects on a dark background. There's also a TUV Rhineland certification for eye comfort on this thing because RGB Mini LED generates color directly instead of relying on a heavy blue base light like most displays. It produces up to 50% less blue light. And let's be honest, we've all experienced that TV headache after a multi-hour gaming session or triple header on game day, and that's usually related to the blue light strain. So cutting that by 50% is gonna be the difference between feeling fine and feeling like you need a nap at halftime. Now, if you're planning to watch a full day of World Cup matches, your eyes are going to thank you. Hisense first brought RGB Mini LED to market in 2025, and the UR9 brings it to real-world TV sizes. Again, 65, 75, 85, and 100 inches. And these are all at prices that aren't reserved for a custom home theater build. But the tech behind how this works is one thing. What you actually see when you sit on the couch is what actually matters. So let's talk about how this display handles the most difficult colors in the spectrum. The UR9 hits 100% BT 2020 color coverage. And for context, most TVs you've ever watched cover around 75 to 85% of that color space. BT 2020 is essentially the full range of color that the human eye can see, and hitting 100% means that the UR9 isn't guessing or approximating, it's reproducing what the creator intended. Skin tones look like skin tones. Stadium grass looks like grass. Cinematic shadows look like actual darkness and not a muddy gray. And speaking of dark rooms, Hisense built what they're calling an obsidian panel into this, an ultra low reflection surface that kills glare from windows and overhead lights. So dark scenes stay rich if you've got sunlight beaming in from behind you, which is honestly where most TVs are going to fall apart. Peak brightness tops out at up to 5,000 nits on the UR9, which is just, I don't know, you're not gonna see it come through on this video, but it is mind-blowing to see. In a bright living room, that kind of headroom means HDR content actually pops the way it's supposed to instead of looking flat and washed out. Now, running all of this is the HiView AI Engine RGB chipset, which is doing real-time adjustments to each individual LED, color, brightness, contrast, all on the fly. You don't need to sit there tweaking picture settings for every different type of content you watch. It reads the scene and it handles it. And on top of that, you've got Dolby Vision 2 processing, which adds another layer of per frame precision on top of the RGB foundation. The two work together very well. And for motion, native 180 Hz panel with AI smooth motion. Sports and fast action stay sharp without tipping into that over-processed soap opera look that some motion smoothing settings produce. It's a balance that's harder to pull off than it sounds, but this TV does it. But a flagship home theater setup is a 50-50 split. You can have the best, brightest image in the world, but if the audio is thin, the illusion is gonna break. So let's talk about these built-in speakers. The Hisense UR9 runs a 4.1.2 multi-channel surround sound system tuned by Devialet. And if you're not familiar with Devialet, they're a French audio company with a serious reputation in the high-end speaker world. And Devialet doesn't just slap their name on things. They're the ones behind those $3,000 Phantom speakers. So having them tune the audio on a TV is not a small thing. They've actually shaped how the drivers are configured and how the system handles spatial audio. The 4.1.2 breakdown means 4 main channels, 1 subwoofer channel for low end, and 2 height channels that are actually firing upward at the ceiling. Those height channels are what makes Dolby Atmos actually work the way it's supposed to. Sound moves above and around you, not just from left to right across the front of the room. Going back to the World Cup, think about watching a match where crowd noise builds from behind you as the ball hits the back of the net, or an action sequence where a helicopter tracks overhead and you can actually feel it pass. That's what the height channels are doing. Dialogue stays clean and locked to the center, even when effects are moving around it, which matters more than most people realize. There's nothing worse than cranking a TV up just to understand what someone is saying. Now on the UR9, speech stays intelligible without you riding the volume. And by the way, for a built-in system on a TV set, this is all legitimately impressive. Whether it fully replaces the soundbar depends on your room size and how serious you are about audio, but out of the box, this is an extremely strong starting point. That Devialet soundstage also gives you a massive advantage in games where hearing footsteps actually matters. But to really compete on an 85-inch screen, you also need raw speed. And that's where this 180 Hz panel starts to pull away from the pack. Because native 180 Hz is where the gaming story starts. Most console and PC gamers are still on 60 Hz panels, and the jump to 120 Hz already feels night and day. Going to 180 Hz on an 85-inch screen is a different experience entirely. Motion is cleaner, inputs feel faster, and fast-paced games like racing or shooters just look noticeably smoother. Game Booster 330 pushes VRR support to 330 Hz with AMD FreeSync Premium Pro certification, so tearing and stuttering aren't really in the conversation here. Low input lag keeps things responsive, and the enhanced game bar lets you pull up settings mid-session without ever having to leave the game. So for console players ready to move up to a flagship display, or PC gamers who want a massive screen without sacrificing performance, the UR9 makes a real case. Now, whether you're gaming at 180 Hz or just catching up on a series, you need a way to actually navigate all that power. And that's handled by Google TV, but with a new AI twist. See, the software side of the UR9 runs on Google TV. So you've got access to over 10,000 apps right out of the box, things like Netflix, Disney+, YouTube. Really, if you can name it, it's going to be here. all in a clean interface that doesn't make you dig through menus to find anything. Getting to content is fast and pretty painless. What's new here is Gemini AI built directly into the OS. So instead of scrolling through rows of thumbnails, you can just describe what you want. Instead of the infinite scroll of 10,000 apps, I can ask Gemini for something like, find me a thriller from the 90s with a twist ending. And it will find exactly what I want across my apps in a few seconds. It also goes beyond streaming. You can ask about live sports scores, weather, get recipes on screen while you cook, check travel info, follow news, have it generate images or stories about questions you ask it, and even control your other smart home devices. The Hisense UR9 isn't just another iteration of Mini LED. Instead, you can see it as a fundamental shift in how color is built at the source. If you've been waiting for a flagship TV that actually justifies its place as the new center of your home, this Hisense UR9 85-inch beast is the one to beat. It is brighter, more accurate, and legitimately easier on your eyes than anything else in its class. If you want to check it out for yourself, again, I will have a link down in the description below. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andru Edwards, and I will catch you in the next video.